Welcome to the Potter Discussion.
Welcome back to the Potter Discussion. This is episode 91, and on today's episode, we will be discussing how the fandom has changed 10 years after the release of the final movie. Let's do this. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are talking about how the Harry Potter fandom has changed since the 10-year ago release of the Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 in 2011. 10 years! That's a long time. So many things could have happened, and so many things did happen since then. Harry Potter has affected so many people's lives, and the fandom has grown so much, and we are covering all of that today. Before we get started, I will remind you that those two links, the SpeakPipe page link and the Google Form link, are still available in the show notes below. If you could just click those, send in your best joke, questions, comments, topics, Quizmaster questions, whatever you want to send in, I would greatly appreciate your feedback. Anything you want to say, just put it down there. It only takes a minute of your time. It is completely free, and it helps me out a bunch. All right, let's get into this episode. It all started on June 26th, 1997. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone was released on that date, and ever since then, millions and millions of fans have been constantly reading, watching, and consuming as much Harry Potter content as they could. So that's a good segue into our first point here, and it is probably the most obvious in that it has grown. The Harry Potter fandom has grown so much, and to tell you anything, the first movie was released just 4 years after the book. That's how fast Harry Potter gained traction, and that's just how many people found Harry Potter an amazing story and a very, very captivating read. It only took 4 years for Warner Bros. To pick up Harry Potter and make it the amazing movie franchise we know and love, I hope, today. So, Harry Potter has been such a huge phenomenon for so long. It's hard to not hear about it. It's hard to not have some relation to Harry Potter. And I say that because everyone just kind of knows about these big things that are happening in the world. Like if you're a fan of hockey, if you're a fan of hockey or baseball or football or soccer or whatever sport, whatever competitive thing, whatever big group activity there is, you just kind of know that these things are happening because everyone knows. Everyone's talking about it. There are so many fans of these huge activities that you are in the loop too. You are around people talking about it. You are maybe even related or good friends with people who talk about it. And that's the same with Harry Potter. That's something that many people partake in, and it is something that took off like a rocket ever since Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone was released. So that's how everything kind of, blows up or goes viral in a sense. If a book can go viral, it did. Harry Potter went viral just because some people heard about it, and then they started talking about it, and then the people that they were talking to heard about it, and then it just exploded. The growth exploded from there. And that is really how much the fandom has expanded, because that growth is still happening today. Just about everyone has heard about Harry Potter, and if they haven't read it already multiple times, they probably are going to read it in the future, just because that's what everyone does. That's the thing that everyone does. And Harry Potter is also it's almost built for everyone hearing about it because its built-in marketing features are, fan sites, blogs, podcasts like this one, and, more books about it and movies and TV shows. And it's just, a book is really built in marketing. And that's exactly how Harry Potter succeeded. So many people heard about it right when it was released, and then so many other, kinds of Harry Potter content was released right after. So it really had a perfect jump start in terms of everyone hearing about it, and that's how much everything has kind of kept going. There has not been a stop in fan sites. YouTube channels haven't just stopped. Everything is still going. All the Harry Potter sites are still going. And that's how much everyone is caring. That's how much everyone is dedicated to Harry Potter. And that's how it has grown so much to this day. As I've mentioned before, content is a huge part of how Harry Potter has reached as many ears as possible. And in addition to growing the audience, it has also served the audience. Let me explain. Content has been created for so many years. There is so much more than just the movies and the books for Harry Potter fans to consume. Now there are fan sites, fan films, fan fiction, podcasts, YouTube channels, blogs. There is so much Harry Potter. It is almost impossible to not come across a Harry Potter related something in your travels across the internet, bookstores, whatever. You will find something Harry Potter. And that is awesome because there's so much more. There is so much more to Harry Potter than the 8 movies and the 7 books and maybe Fantastic Beasts. If that's Harry Potter, I don't think the fandom would exist today because it was just cut off. There's really a feeling of, this is it. The fandom is done. There's no more Harry Potter. There's no more, let's do this and have fun and go to the movies and let's wait for the midnight release. It felt like the excitement was gone after the release of the last movie. So you can imagine how excited the fandom was when so much more Harry Potter content just kept coming out. And just to name a few sites, we have MuggleNet, Pottermore, J.K. Rowling's official site, Warner Brothers site, the Harry Potter Lexicon, the Leaky Cauldron. So many people made such big sites. It is crazy that people thought everything would end after the release of the last movie. And I mean, saying that now in the age of technology, where we have so much more, to put out there than we did 10 years ago in 2011. But there's still so much more coming out. Like, this episode is a new episode, and I'm still talking about Harry Potter, and I have been for almost a year. So many people and things and groups and companies and whatever have still been pushing out Harry Potter content just because the spirit is never going to die. Everyone is still going to have their foot in the door of loving Harry Potter. And even if they read it as a child and they never really went back to it as an adult, that part of themselves is always going to still be there. And if you like something, it's pretty hard to unlike it. You cannot eat or try that thing anymore, but you are still going to have some opinion towards it. And it is going to be the same. Your opinion is probably going to stay the same if you stop practicing, taking part in whatever you were doing before. Those feelings never change, and that's the same with Harry Potter. Everyone loves Harry Potter, and they never stop. They never not like Harry Potter unless it's done something to offend them, or they just don't find the same joy in it anymore. They may look back and think, I didn't like Harry Potter. But in that moment, they did. And I know for sure that they did. Because they liked it before. And you can never say, I didn't like it when you did. I really got off track there with that one. But let's move on, because the next one is very, very true. Another big part of Harry Potter is the actors. The actors, after acting in Harry Potter, have gone on to act in so many other movies, TV shows, and whatever you can name, that it is almost preposterous. With the size of Harry Potter, they could go on to do very Harry Potter-sized things, and they have. With that comes a platform. With that comes endless supporters and so much to say to so many people. They have to use their platform for good. And that is exactly what they did. And that is number 3. Actors have gone on and used their platform for charity and so many other good things. I give them the Oscar thumbs up. I say good job to them, because even now you can probably, listening, you probably follow someone on social media, an actor. You've probably heard of them doing things that are good in the world. And that's just because they were given the platform to do those things. That's what Harry Potter gave them. And in the 10 years since that release, they have done so much. Raised so much money for charity, done so much good in the world, that I think it is definitely worth it for them to have, had that opportunity to be on Harry Potter. And I wish I could name all of the charities that they have donated to or, spoke good about in the public sense. But there's just too many to talk about individually. But the Harry Potter actors have done a really, really fantastic job in using what the platform that they were given for something good, for a good cause. And that's something that I think everyone should take note of. If you have a platform, you should use it for good. You should spread a good message, and that's what I try to do, at least. That's what everyone else, I hope, that has a Harry Potter podcast, YouTube channel, blog, whatever, tries to do. And that's what the actors especially have put in an amazing effort into doing these amazingly good things in the world. In addition to everyone else who has been on the Harry Potter set and given a platform about Harry Potter, even if they've had no affiliation with Harry Potter at all, like a big whatever, someone with a million whatevers. They could say to those 1 million followers, hey, this is a good thing. I hope you should, donate to this charity. And that's a Harry Potter thing. They use their Harry Potter passion to spread the message of their Harry Potter goodness. And that's another thing in these 10 years that Harry Potter has given us. The platform and the passion to spread a message of good, which is just another thing to add to the list of great things that Harry Potter has done for the fandom as a whole. Talking about how much more content has come out of Harry Potter, the franchise has come out with more content, and in response to the amazing response of Harry Potter, the original 7 books and the original 8 movies, everyone absolutely loved them. So what does Warner Bros. Think to do? Make more Harry Potter. And they did that by incorporating much more Harry Potter stuff into their whole regime, into their whole thing, by Wizarding World website, Fantastic Beasts, so many other things that they contributed to. They made, the Patronus quiz, the wand quiz, the Ilvermorny quiz was just taken down, actually, which is a little sad, but so much has come out of it, and Warner Bros. Has recognized the appeal and the need for more Harry Potter, that they decided to give the fans what they wanted and make more, which is another amazing thing that has come out of this. The response of fans showing the world how much they love Harry Potter, and encouraging the people who made Harry Potter in the first place to make even more original Harry Potter content that is as amazing as the first 8 movies. Those are really some of the best that we've seen. But with Fantastic Beasts, there is some potential to have another huge explosion of fans, and maybe there's another series after that, and after that, and after that. Warner Bros. Has really seen the potential of so many more Harry Potter movies that I think we might be seeing some more content after Fantastic Beasts, after Wizarding World. There's just so much that has not come out of this that I think can. We really have to be on the lookout for how much has come out. And in just 10 years, keep in mind, this is only in 10 years. I know 10 years is quite a while, but for a fandom to grow, expand, and encourage the makers of Harry Potter to do something again, to do the whole process again, to convince them, that is a huge feat. But the fandom did it because they love Harry Potter so much. They want so much Harry Potter that they, convinced Warner Bros. To make a multi-million-dollar project again, to make some more of the movies that they just can't live without. And coming in at number 5, we have Universal. I would have looped this in with the previous point, but this is just way too big to encapsulate in just one point with so many other topics. So Universal Studios is pretty much the mega park. There are so many Harry Potter rides, original Harry Potter shops, and so much Harry Potter merchandise that you can get from Universal, and it attracts so many people per year. 7.3 million people per year, to be exact. Now, in the whole population of the U.S., about 300 million, that doesn't seem like a lot, but 7 million people. Just imagine your hometown and imagine that times however many people there are. And it's just crazy. That's crazy to think that millions of people decide to take time out of their day, money out of their wallet, and go to the Harry Potter world, Universal. And I think Universal Hollywood is about similar numbers, so it is practically double that, almost like 14 million, which is crazy that many millions of people decide, I want to go to Harry Potter Land. I want to see what so many other people have seen. And I want to experience what it is like to have a physical representation of all I have read and seen. That is a whole process, and that is a whole process that people have to agree to in their brains to think, I want to do this, I want to go to Harry Potter Land. And that's something that is such an amazing thing to think about, that many people would decide to do that much of a strenuous thing. I know you're saying, well, it's not that hard, it's a vacation, but it's expensive, and you have to maybe fly there if you live far away, and you have to go through the whole process of getting your tickets, going through the barrier, and then finally getting into Harry Potter world. So it's a whole process that people have to decide to go through just to get to Harry Potter world. But you would be surprised that it's 14 million people that decide to do that. It is the millions of people that have read Harry Potter and think, I would love to do this. And just multiply that by however many years that these two, Universal Hollywood and Universal in Orlando, have been open. That's so much. So many people have decided, I want to go here. I want to do this. It's really a really crazy thing to think about, that Harry Potter has affected that many people's lives in just 10 years of all of them being around, which is an amazing thing. It's crazy. It's so weird to think that it's the magnitude of people visiting Harry Potter Universal and Universal Hollywood is in the millions, not in the thousands or maybe even the 100,000s. It's in the millions. So far, we have been mostly talking about the impact of Harry Potter just in America, with all the Harry Potter worlds and everything like that. But we haven't mentioned that it has affected so many other places than just the US. In fact, every single country has had some kind of affiliation with Harry Potter. So many people have read it. I think it's about 500 million total copies of Harry Potter have been sold since the release in 1997. So just to give you some magnitude, it is that much, which is crazy. It is so amazing that many people have decided to get Harry Potter and get it and read it and enjoy it as much as the last person, which is something that is really, really hard to do. And even besides that, even besides getting so many copies and reading so many copies, there are also some other themed world. I know maybe in Australia there was a Harry Potter world, and in every single country there's some kind of, of attribution to Harry Potter, just as a place there, because it's that many people loved Harry Potter, not just in America, not just in Europe. There are so many other places. It's been printed in more than 30 languages, and so many people have read Harry Potter just because it's that big of a phenomenon. Going back to number 1, everyone has heard about it, and every country is reading it constantly. And even right now, when you're hearing this, I bet at least a dozen people are reading Harry Potter at this very, very second. Only the first book. I bet 100 people are reading every book this second as you're hearing this. That's just how much of an impact Harry Potter has had. Those pages are constantly being turned and the words are constantly being read, just because those 500 million books are always passing through people's hands and are always being read every single second of every single day since the fateful day of 1997. Feels like it's telling war stories. But the bottom line is, every single place you go, you will find some amazing tribute to Harry Potter. And finally, we're talking about the actors again. The actors have done so much good talking about charity and spreading their message across the world, but we haven't talked about how they did that, and it's social media. And that is number 7, actors forging their own bubble of supporters on social media. The rise of social media is really a big part of this, of how actors have been able to connect with their fans in such an easy way. Right in their pocket, they have a device that can talk to the millions of people that have seen Harry Potter, and that's a really cool thing to have. That's a really cool opportunity to have been a part of. That the actors have been continually putting out content of themselves, in their everyday lives. Off the top of my head, I know Tom Felton does things on Instagram. I know the Phelps brothers as well. I know also that there have been Harry Potter actors starting podcasts, which is really cool. The Phelps brothers have started a podcast. I believe it's called Normal Not Normal. And Ivana Lynch, who played Luna Lovegood, also started a podcast called The Chick Peeps. It's not Harry Potter related, none of them are, but it's still a really cool thing to have them be a Harry Potter actor saying their message. It might not be Harry Potter related, but at least they're trying to do something good. So that really all feeds into this point of Harry Potter actors continuing their career of influencing millions of people and sending a message of good to all of their supporters and all of the people who have the opportunity to see what they have to say. And that just about wraps it up for today's episode. If you're still listening to this, you probably care a little bit about what I'm doing. And I'm using a new audio interface. If you've been hearing those little clicks throughout the episode, that's what they were. Here's some good clicks. So that's cool, little ASMR for you. But it's really helping with the production, makes it a lot easier. Although I did spend about 2 hours trying to figure it out before I started this recording, I think it'll be really helpful in the long run. So that's cool. I have this, but let's just close out the episode, and I'll see you next time. So, if you have any questions, comments, topics, Quizmaster questions, or jokes that you would like to hear on the podcast, use those 2 links in the show notes below. The SpeakPipe page link and the Google Form link. It'll only take a second of your time, and I would love to hear what you have to say. If you don't want to use those 2 links, please send me an email, ThePotterDiscussion@gmail.com. That is ThePotterDiscussion@gmail.com. I would absolutely love what you have to say. Any suggestions for the show, any episodes you want to hear, I will fit them in, and you will hear them soon. If you could just scroll down in your podcast, have a choice, tap those fast stars, or even leave a written review, that could help me out more than you could ever know, and it helps other listeners find this show. As always, use information to your advantage, and I will see you later.